Welcome Trinidad and Tobago to our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited. I'm Nicola Barito. Let's take a look at the headlines. This country's culture will be widely promoted through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Communications. Maxi taxi owners can now smile with the resolution of the transfer of permits issue. And in sport, Defence Force remains a force. Thank you for joining us to our top story. Foreign Affairs and Communications Minister Dr. the Honorable Surajratan Rambachan is announcing that Trinidad and Tobago's culture will be widely promoted on an international basis via several initiatives by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Communications. Dr. Rambachan was speaking at the prize-giving ceremony of the second art competition entitled Bridging Borders Through Art, which was held at Napa. Verna Barth reports.
With the initiatives of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, winning pieces of art by young students throughout this country will now be showcased at the United Nations General Assembly. This from Foreign Affairs and Communications Minister Dr. Surajratan Rambachan, who commended the winners of the second art competition entitled Bridging Borders Through Art for their very unique and imaginative pieces. He was speaking at the prize-giving ceremony of the competition, which carried the theme, A Reflection of People of African Descent.
And we are going to take these pieces to the 67th Assembly of the United Nations, UNGA 67, in September. And we are working to have an exhibition of this art at the United Nations. I believe that Trinidad and Tobago, unless I am otherwise advised, is the only country in the world of the 193 countries that make up the United Nations who will exhibit student art at the United Nations this year to commemorate the International Year of People of African Descent.
Dr. Rambachan is also announcing that Trinidad and Tobago will be the only country to create a mural to commemorate the International Year of People of African Descent. He adds that it is just one of the initiatives undertaken by the ministry to commemorate this international year and to raise awareness among the secondary school population of the contribution of African descendants to the world heritage and in particular the Caribbean region's heritage.
A ceramic mural to be put up at the University of the West Indies. Again, Trinidad and Tobago will be the only country in the world to create a mural to celebrate our diplomatic relations in the year of celebrated by the UN for people of African descent. And it tells a story of how we think. It tells a story of how we appreciate. It tells a story of how we value our past, our ancestors. Because it is upon their foundation that we have built our lives. Whether they came from Africa, from India, or from China, but they have all contributed to what we are today as a people whom we dub Trinbagonians.
60 masterpieces were selected from some 503 submissions from 70 secondary schools, and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs identifies it as an avenue for students to demonstrate their interpretation and understanding of international relations through the use of the medium art. Several young winners of the competition described their pieces and what it depicted.
I go to the International School of Port of Spain, and this piece was, the motive for this piece was to connect Africa to Trinidad by bridging borders, the concept of the art competition. And I wanted to show Africa, which was the forefather of development in Trinidad and Tobago, as giving their gift of culture, society and development to the young developing Trinidad and Tobago. And I think I depict that through the father, Africa, giving their gift.
I'm Azam Aziz from St. Benedict's College, Laramie, to the south, and the piece that I did, its title is More to Be Done, Forward, Never Back. Firstly, the inspiration of this piece came from the philosophy shared by Dr. Leroy Clark, which is black people are like duendes nowadays. They're moving backwards. This piece, to me, it signifies the struggle and the cries of the African race. It is neither female nor male, young or old. The piece itself, there's this little man down in the corner in a fetal position with a hand pointing. He looks outstretched as though he's asking or begging for something. Now this is a metaphoric statement of mental block and mental slavery.
So you use the mirror for she said the word reflection gave her the idea of the mirror. So looking into the mirror.
Yeah.
Very nice. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congrats.
Veena Bharath, News 4.
When we come back, after months of agitation, the issue of the transfer of maxi taxi permits has a positive end. Stay with us.
Civilian Conservation Corps, CCC, now recruiting candidates for its upcoming cycle. Join our training program, military-led, national in scope.
Environment conserving, disaster response training, flora and fauna preserving, and life skill training. If you want to do better, change your life over. Civilian Conservation Corps has opened doors. You like plumbing? You like welding?
Call us now at 625-4CCC. That's 625-4222. Or contact us at the CCC office in your region. For further information, check us out on Facebook. Search for Civilian Conservation Corps. The Civilian Conservation Corps, getting youth ready for life.
Personal music players can stop you from being aware of your surroundings. Always be aware of your surroundings and periodically look over your shoulder to prevent anyone from sneaking up on you. Remember, crime prevention is everyone's business. A message from the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service.
You ever wonder what we just do on a daily basis? Well, let me enlighten you on some of our roles and responsibilities. Our hours of work are from 10 to half 5. We also scan and mark beaches with flags. Advise beachgoers on safety and safety measures. We even administer first aid and CPR when necessary. One of our main priority is to take all preventative measures and to respond to all beach emergencies and rescues. We also monitor water conditions as well as weather conditions because you don't want to be caught in rain and all of a sudden, whoosh! Lightning strike and cut you a new mohawk. So people, be beat smart.
Welcome back. After months of agitation on the issue of the transfer of permits, maxi taxi owners and operators had a lot to smile about on Tuesday. The issue had even led to protests on the part of the maxi taxi operators just a month ago. But as John Victor tells us, legal advice sought from the Attorney General's office has now settled the issue favorably for maxi taxi drivers.
This advice was having regard to the purpose of the statutory powers of the Transport Commissioner. Unless there is a clear policy for prohibiting the transfer of ownership or surrender and grant of permission to be operator between the willing vendor and the purchaser as the sale of each right, then such absolute ban would not be in keeping with the policy of the 1994 Maxi Taxi Act and contrary to government policy as reflected in the 2005 Cabinet Minute and possibly unconstitutional.
Quoting excerpts from the advice of the AG, the Transport Minister then delivered the good news to maxi taxi operators.
As a result of that, effective immediately, maxi taxis can now once again sell their maxis and purchase maxis and have the permits transferred with them immediately. This is an issue that has been outstanding almost a year now, and I think it's one that the maxi taxi community is pleased that it has been instated in the manner.
And it seems to have been a decision welcomed by the maxi taxi operators.
Great, because we all have been hoping that this will happen. We have maxi taxi people who have been suffering a great deal because of injustice because we were not able to transfer our vehicle, and we thought that our rights were being infringed because we have a maxi taxi and we cannot transfer it for whatever reason. If it's dead or whatever reason, we were not able to transfer it from one to the other.
I feel real good about the decision. As I say, we thank the minister for what he done to help out, because we had a lot of members was in real stress. As you hear, one gentleman was here, he had been have a vehicle waiting for transfer for 10 months, and he had to find other means to pay his installment.
That operator is Prakash Bala, who welcomed the move.
I ain't pull a passenger on the road for the years yet. I just do jobs and surviving on that. Yeah, so I'm very happy for the decision that I make today. Not me alone, but I have a lot of brethren out here on the same kind of boat, you know. So I thank the Lord for the decision that was made.
His sentiments were shared by Kelvin Pear, president of the Route 3 Green Band Maxi Taxi Association.
The maxi taxi industry thrives on the question of transfers. Okay, it caused it to be buoyant. So you find that how it was actually killing the industry. The industry was becoming placid. So now, with the reintroduction of transfers to that level, you find there's buoyancy in the industry now.
John Victor, News 4.
Efforts are being made to shift persons living with mental illness towards living a more normal life. It's a direction the Ministry of Health is hoping to take as it looks to increase the number of rehab centers for persons living with psychiatric problems as they transit back into society. Kimberly Ramkalawan reports.
Refurbishment of the Tumpuna Rehabilitation Center is set to commence soon. This as the Ministry of Health looks to accommodate more acute psychiatric patients and at the same time reintroduce patients back into society. Speaking during a tour of the Tumpuna Road facility as renovation and expansion works look to get started before the moving in of patients takes place, Manager of the Mental Health Program at the Ministry, Trudy Harding-Rouse, said it was all part of the Ministry's plans of empowering persons to living a normal life once again.
We are visiting because, as you know, Minister visited St. Anne's Hospital, which is the mental health institution of Trinidad and Tobago. And while on his visit, he realized that from the assessment of patients, that a number of the patients, a large percentage of them, can actually be reintegrated into community care and into the community itself. And since the Global Trust is towards reintegration of persons who have been successfully treated for mental disorders back into the community, the RIMA, or as the Tumpuna Rehab Center, is a facility that falls under mental health.
Medical Chief of Staff at the St. Anne's Hospital, Dr. Ian Hippolyte, noted that some urgent repairs were needed at the center.
A major part of the problem would have to be repair of the roof in the main block, because that seems to be affecting all of the floors in the main block. It also compromises accommodation for patients. There's a space that would house approximately 20 patients that is not usable because it is subject to flooding. And there are other general repairs to be done. The building is in fact an old building, but roofing works would take precedence.
Ms. Harding-Rouse added that the center will facilitate persons under minimal supervision.
As a result, because of the successful program that they have been having, the psychosocial rehabilitation program, this would be a good area to transit the patients from St. Anne's who are level 1 to 3, that is, meaning that they can actually assist themselves with minimal supervision and basic treatment. And they can be allowed to be trained and retrained for reintegration into society and be able to then go into community care homes and even hopefully be able to go back into the general community on their own.
The goal of the rehabilitation program aims to see persons with persistent and serious mental illness reach a place where they are able to live normal lives in their communities. Kimberly Ramkalawan, News 4.
When we come back, Scholarship Open Day at the Ministry of Tobago Development. Stay with us.
We are reporting from communities across the country. People are calling Nalis Libraries their library. Tell me, why is Nalis your library?
My library is where I can have fun learning.
My library is helping me earn better grades with online research resources.
My library is my gateway to the world of information.
My library is providing access to the differently abled. As a visually impaired person, I can envision limitless possibilities.
My library is making my world truly worldwide with free internet access.
My library is helping me keep an eye on my health with access to the virtual health library via the Nalis website.
Nalis is my library.
Jason, I think I'm seeing some rain.
Listen, Dee, that's going to be a serious shower. This rainy season will be hectic, you know.
Potential flooding across Trinidad and Tobago.
It's so important to have the information so we could be prepared and we could plan and put things in place to protect ourselves.
That's why Jason and I found out some things that you can do to protect yourself and your family this rainy season.
First plan of action is to not build your home or business too close to ravines, rivers or drains. Because when the heavy flooding occurs, they can wash away all your valuable property.
Remember, rivers need a place to flow, and over time, riverbanks widen naturally. So if you must, build a safe distance from the river.
But at the end of the day, flooding takes place, and if indeed you become a victim of flooding, here is the hookup. You need to contact your regional corporation or the ODPM at 800 ODPM.
Great, Jason. Remember, damages caused by flooding can be minimized. So let's plan and prepare.
In order to safeguard our family, our community, and our country.
A message from the Ministry of National Security, Office of Disaster Preparedness and Management.
Adults aren't the only ones who beat up on kids. Sometimes kids beat up on kids.
Every child has the right to be protected from violence, abuse, and neglect.
Because I shouldn't be afraid to go to school or play with my friends.
Because no child should be hurt by adults or by other children.
Because safety is my right. Stop the bullying.
Unite for children!
Thank you for staying with us. In an attempt to provide information on the available scholarship opportunities, the Ministry of Tobago Development held its Scholarship Open Day, aimed at highlighting the scholarship process as well as the requirements for assessing the scholarship grant. Kimberly Ramkalawan has the story.
As government looks at providing opportunities for citizens to improve themselves, steps are being taken to ensure they are aware of the various scholarships offered under the government. In this regard, the Ministry of Tobago Development held its Open Day, aimed at sensitizing residents of the island on the scholarship opportunities. Distance Learning Coordinator at the Ministry of Tobago Development, Priscilla Campbell, called on Tobagonians to capitalize on the new avenues available to them through the program.
Trying to raise the awareness as part of our outreach program for the National Scholarship Program. We are working in Tobago, but we are in fact coordinating with the Ministry of Public Administration, which is the ministry that is leading on the scholarship program. My role is to, one, raise awareness in Tobago, make as many Tobagonians as possible aware of the scholarship programs and the scholarship awards that are available to Tobagonians, and let them know that there is a whole world of opportunities out there where they can actually realize some of those dreams that they thought will be too far-fetched because of cost.
The scholarships are offered under the Ministry of Public Administration Scholarships and Advanced Training Division, and is part of government's plan as it continues towards sustainable investment in its citizens.
A lot of our young people are very, very talented, but because of economic and other reasons are unable to realize some of their dreams and some of their potential. And awareness of these scholarship programs will very well give them an opportunity to revisit some of their dreams and start dreaming again, and actually be able to look at that whole world of studying opportunities, academic opportunities, and just broaden their horizon really, so that Tobago can in fact be developed by our own resources, by our own human capital.
She added that the assistance will require students returning to Trinidad and Tobago to serve in the public sector.
The applicant is assigned to an officer in the Secretariat who will walk them through the whole process. The visas, the settling in, the signing of the contract, because of course, once you have been applied, the government of Trinidad and Tobago is funding your studies, we are funding you for the development of our country, and therefore you are contracted to return here and bring those skills back home.
In 2011, 26 Tobagonians were awarded regional and international scholarships through the intervention of the Ministry of Tobago Development. Kimberly Ramkalawan, News 4.
When we come back, Defence Force Football Club remains a force.
Carjacking has become very prevalent in recent times. Certain makes of vehicles are more preferred targets for criminals. When approaching intersections or junctions, ensure that all doors are locked and windows are wound up if possible. Remember, crime prevention is everyone's business. A message from the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service.
Meet the Kissoons. It's Saturday and everyone has to do their part to clean the house. Everything was flowing perfectly until... Daddy, where do you want again? No. Don't let this happen to you. Pay your bill today.
The Water and Sewage Authority of Trinidad and Tobago. Water security for every sector. Deliver it. Sustain it.
Hi, I'm Natasha, and like most Trinbagonians, I love the beach. The beach can be fun, but we have to be tsunami smart and know the warning signs. You're at the beach and you feel the earth shake. Run. You see the water moving an unusual distance out from the shore. Run. You hear a strange roar from the sea. Run. If you experience any of these warning signs, run to higher ground. Be tsunami smart and know the natural warning signs. They could save your life.
A message from the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Management, United States Agency for International Development, Caribbean Disaster and Emergency Management Agency, UWI Seismic Research Center, and the European Union.
Time now for a sport feature. We look at football. The Defence Force was dethroned as Pro League champion by W Connection in this season's competition, but the force was by no means disgraced. The military men started their defence of the championship late due to national commitments and still finished a credible fourth. They will also compete in their second cup final on Friday, and a piece of silverware will be welcomed by Coach Ross Russell and his men. Wayne Cunningham has more.
The Defence Force Football Club will face Caledonia AIA this coming Friday in the final of the TT Pro League's Lucasade Sports Gold Shield. This is a repeat of the National FA Trophy final, which the Army, Coast Guard and Airmen lost to the Mova Laventil outfit. Richard Roy has scored the most goals this season, and the Solier is bent on turning that defeat around.
The last finals against Caledonia, we lost 1-0 and we come into better that score on Friday, please the Lord. So come Friday, our team will be ready and up for it.
Some of the team's key players, including Captain Corey Rivers and star striker Kevin Carter, are currently training for promotion and will be unavailable for Friday's match. But Roy is not worried.
It's good to see that seven our seniors going and the youngsters, they're stepping up to the game, and they were here with us a long while, and you appreciate that they gain up the pong and the gaffer, as he say, he like that.
The team got off to a late start because of national duty and did well despite that fact. But Coach Ross Russell is not satisfied. Silverware is needed.
Well, after this, we will never be satisfied with our season because, we wanted to defend our title, which is the league. Didn't really get chance because we started off after the SC about 2 weeks, started to play, so we was not full fitness. But I think we got to account of ourselves. We came fourth in the league actually. I think we did our best to keep it. But right now, we back to full strength. The CDS give us the time to recuperate and get ourselves in order. So we are thankful for that from our boss. He's the owner of the team actually. So we're always glad when we get a little time to prepare right.
Friday's final was shifted from the Manny Ramjohn to Hazley Crawford Stadium after the coaches petitioned the league to leave its faithful support base. Coach Russell now wants the fans to justify that move.
Jamal and I fight for the game to come in the stadium, and the South people have been very nice to TNTech and W Connection and the South team by coming out. We were the people from Tongue and environ, East and all to come out and show the people from South that we could support our team as well. I know Caledonia team have a strong East-based support. I have a service support. Even the police and the fires are supporting me. I want them to come out on Friday and really fill up the stadium and let the guys have something to play for, because sometimes when they play in front of an empty stadium, the vibes doesn't be as right. You got to bring the vibe.
The former national goalkeeper then made a strong point in favor of supporting the local game.
Time we stop studying teams from Europe like Man United, the Barcelona, how they fill in the stadium. They fill the stadium because the supporters comes out. Our supporters don't come out because they're studying the quality of the football. I think the quality of the football have been recruited for the last 2 years I've been coaching. I think it had real good games equal to Manchester playing Man City, and I think that all we need is the fans to come out on Friday and support the Lucas Classic. We had to stop studying the other leagues and studying to watch the Barcelona, Real Madrid. We come out and watch Cali and Army battle because it's community against community. As I hear the next coach, Jamal Shabazz, say, he represents Lavan team over. I represent Trinidad and Tobago. So I want everybody to come out. I represent Defense Force, I represent my CDS, I represent everybody that believes in us.
Well said, Coach. Wayne Cunningham.
Well, that's how we wrap up this edition of our News 4 Report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited. I'm Nicola Barito. Thank you for joining us.